There is a girl I've carried around inside me for a long time. She's loud, raw, bright, sensual, unapologetically alive. And for most of my life, she's been called too much, too emotional, too opinionated, too sensitive, too sexual, too wild, too everything for the people who were never meant to hold her. So I did what most of us do. I swallowed her fire. I put her in a cage. I smiled. I softened. I made myself small, palatable, safe. But lately, she's banging on the walls. I can feel her in my throat. I can hear her in my silence. I can see her in the spaces that I don't show up, and in the moments where I want to scream, but I smile instead. And I know that I'm not alone. So in today's episode, we're honoring her, the too much girl, the one that you buried, the one you told to dim, to quiet, to tone it down. We're going to talk about what it means to reclaim her, to uncage her, to let her wear her sensuality on her sleeve, to speak her truth, to take up space like the medicine she is. You ready? Let's go in. Welcome to the Good Good podcast. I'm your host, Dee Talley, mama, licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, and embodiment coach. Here we dive deep into the realms of energy, consciousness, awareness, empowerment, and personal transformation to help you create a more vibrant and juicy life. Whew, felt good. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Good Good, and I'm your host, Dee Talley. Thank you so much for joining us. Whew, today, the too much girl. Yeah, she's really been on my mind, and I'll tell you a story. My husband works a pretty demanding job, and his shifts can switch without notice. And so lately he has gone to overnights. And as you know, listening to this podcast, we have two very young children. And a lot of the responsibility for the kids has fallen to me. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And I know it's not easy for him too. But I have found myself just pushed beyond the limits, taxed, and overdone a lot of the times. You know, it's like working single mom, essentially. I have so much respect for single moms. Seriously, like, y'all the real MVPs. So anyway, I come home, I rush home, I'm running late, back from taking patients, doing all my chart notes, wrapping up the office. I blitz home. I make it home. I'm a little bit late. I'm kind of frazzled. It's time for baths. It's like past bedtimes. Everything's going wrong. They're hungry. They're tired. They're this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, we're getting through the nighttime routine, and we're at the part where we read stories and we listen to a song. And this is the time where the kids are normally like getting the last bit out, like the last bit of their excitement, and they're going nuts, right? It's kind of like when a dog gets the zoomies, right? So they're going nuts and nuts and nuts. And I just yell, "Stop, you're too much." And something clanged inside of me, like something prehistoric clanged inside of me. Because what was I saying? I wasn't saying, "You little girls, you're too much as you are." I was saying, "This is too much for me. I am overstimulated. I am overdone." It was about me. It wasn't about them. And I got to thinking about the too much girl that all of us have inside of us. And so many times throughout life, and this is culturally conditioned, this is societal norms, this is family traits, etc., that too much girl gets stripped away. Her essence is stripped away, and most of us have her caged up inside of us. And this is something that I have been aware of for a very, very, very long time. And for me, it feels to me like a simmering, like I caged her up on purpose because I was scared, because I was overwhelmed by her emotion, by her sensuality, by her sexuality, by her ability to take up space, that I caged her off. And this is something I've been very much aware of for a long, long time, because she is starting to rattle the cages. And I know that even as alone as I feel, I am not alone. Women everywhere are conditioned to hold in that too much girl. And there is a cost to that. There's a cost to it in so many different levels, in so many different ways. So she is conditioned to be palatable, to be quiet, to be pretty, to be good. So loaded. But let's talk first a little bit about epigenetics, because this isn't just an us generation problem, right? There has been lineages and ages of women who have had the too much girl beaten out of us, right? So epigenetics, so DNA is like your hardware. Epigenetics is the software that tells your DNA how to behave. Here's the kicker. Those changes can be inherited, meaning trauma doesn't just live in a memory, it lives in your body. And it has started generations before you. So, and this is a trip when we talk about this. So this is a trip because there is a study, a very famous mouse study. So in the study, researchers exposed mice to the smell of cherry blossoms. And when they did that, it was associated with an electric shock. So it was a pain condition, right? So they smelled the cherry blossoms, they got the shock. Okay, over and over and over and over again. Then they procreated the mice. And then with the babies, they gave them the cherry blossom smell. And the babies flinched, cowered, expected that shock. They weren't conditioned to have that shock. They were simply just procreated from the mice who were conditioned with the shock. Boom. Whoa. Holy shit. That's epigenetics. Our nervous systems and gene expressions adapt to help us survive. And those adaptations, even traumatic, are inherited by our children, by our children's children. And this, my friends, is how ancestral trauma lives in our bodies. So, biologically speaking, a female fetus has all the eggs she'll ever have when she's inside the womb. So technically, you were an egg inside your mother, inside your grandmother. We're talking 3 generations sharing one single body. So if you think that whatever your grandmother was subjected to does not impact you, it is untrue. That means that there was a piece of you that was already there inside of your grandmother. So, in the way that she felt, in the way she survived, in the way that she grieved, in the way that she was silenced, all of that left an imprint. So when we talk about ancestral trauma, it's not just this woo-woo idea, it's biology. Your body remembers, the womb remembers. You carry the echoes of whatever came before you, and you hold the power to rewrite what comes next. The too much girl. So let's talk about why your body might flinch, cower, have a reaction when you try to take up space. Your throat tightens. Why you feel like that fire has been caged, even if on paper you feel fine. You want to express yourself in that way, but yet there is a biological thing that occurs when you start to take up space. Let's talk about traits of what the too much girl is. So she is unfiltered in truth. She speaks her mind. She says the thing in the room that nobody else wants to say because she trusts her guts more than getting external approval for whatever it is that she's saying. So when she says that's not right for me, she's going towards what feels authentically good for her, even if it's not right for everybody else around her. She feels it in her bones. She's unapologetically sensual. She feels deeply. She is connected to her senses. She moves with intuition, and she wears her sensuality like a second skin. She flirts. She's alive. She is fire embodied. Her sexuality, her sensuality, it's sovereign. It's not a performance. She is inside of herself, feeling what it feels like to be her feminine essence. She doesn't tone it down for the sake of other people, to be more digestible, to be more palatable. She feels her pleasure and she takes up space unapologetically. Her desire, her body. She doesn't cower. She doesn't suck her stomach in. She is full spectrum emotion. She cries hard. She laughs hard. She gets mad. She gets soft. She doesn't try to numb or flatten her feelings to be more reasonable or to be more socially acceptable. Her emotion is clarity. It's not chaos, and she knows it. She's a disruptor. She's disruptive by nature because she questions. She questions everything around her. She questions normal roles. She disrupts silence. She is a mirror that makes other people feel uncomfortable. Her presence makes other people uncomfortable because she is so authentically in her truth that for anybody else around her who is unauthentic can feel her, and that makes them uncomfortable. She knows that the truth will never fit inside a lie. She's intuitive and wild. She knows and trusts things without needing a source. She is the source. She leads from her body and her soul, not metrics. She doesn't need to explain herself. She knows. She knows truth. She's uncontrollable. She can't be managed, manipulated, or boxed in. And when she starts to feel caged, she burns the thing to the ground. Ugh. She's magnetic. People are drawn to her and they're intimidated by her because she reflects back what is repressed. And she reminds others what they gave up to be accepted. I remember the first time that I ever had this experience where I was in the room with a woman fully expressed in her too muchness. And I remember feeling so triggered and like I was saying things inside myself like, who does she think she is? And how can she dress like that? And how can she act like that? And when I was able to peel back the layers, what I realized is she was just a mirror for me to see that I was not fully in my own expression, that I was making myself more palatable. It's like, this is another story. When I moved my practice to be from before when I was working at Durkee Street with Kristen Moore, I moved into WellCare chiropractic, and I love the Welks. Like they're great people. They're like my brother and sister, like truly. But when I moved into West Bay, I had this overwhelming need and desire to get uniforms. Like I wanted to completely wash away myself. And this was also in the era of when I was having babies, I was pregnant, it was almost like too much for me to get dressed in the morning every day. And I thought that I wanted to build this big practice. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get these uniforms and I'm going to have anybody who works for me just wear a black uniform. And I remember my sister being like, you're gonna wear all black? Like, she was baffled, right? Because she knows that I like to be in my authentic, unique expression of myself. And she was really confused. She's like, but people come here for you. Like, they want to see you. And I remember being like, it's going to be okay. I just want to be like utilitarian, super functional, like no muss, no fuss. And I also was really, really sensitive when I was pregnant, and I couldn't, it's like I couldn't take anybody saying anything about my body, my outfit, the way that I expressed myself. And so I started wearing these all black, really nice actually, these uniforms. And over time, and I wore them for years, years and years and years and years. And I remember when I moved out of that office, and it wasn't the office, it was me. It was the era that I was in. When I moved into Margaret Street, into my space now with Ember and Rue, and Anna, my dear, dear friend Anna, is fully expressed. She is a too much woman in the most wonderful, glorious ways to me. But I never felt triggered by her too muchness. I felt permission to remember who I was in my too muchness. And I remember being like, rip these fucking black uniforms off of me. I can't wear this anymore. I have no other option but to be me. And if who I am as me is too much for whoever, patients, friends, family members, that's on them. And so I ripped those uniforms off of myself, and I really have not looked back. And it is sad because they are very nice, but it's like a little part of me dies inside if I do not express myself in the full expression of who I am. And it can be said that it probably is too much for some people. And again, that's okay with me. Above all, in all of the traits of the too much girl, she is alive. She's tapped into her source gate. She feels her womb. She's in her pelvis. She is alive. She's full spectrum, not the filtered version. She's dropped in. Her voice is low. She is everything. The world can call her too much because they were too numb, too scared, and too quiet to meet her bigness. She's not too much. She's free. And this scares the shit out of a lot of people. So I want you to take a moment, if this is available to you, close your eyes. And I want you to put one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb space, your lower belly. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe into these spaces, and I want you to ask her, where are you? What do you want to say? What do you want to say out loud? I want to invite you to explore her, to journal with her, to dance with her, to ask her as many times as you can what she thinks, and offer yourself an actionable step. Like, wear that bold shirt that you've wanted to wear for a while. Post something honest and let one of her truths out today, because I promise you, it is like opening a floodgate when you are able to slowly start to make contact with the too much girl, with this piece of you who is deep inside of you. Once you start to make contact with her, you will start to wake up. I want to talk and this could actually probably be its another full episode, which if one single person asks me to do expansion on this one, I will do that. I want to talk about the cost to your partner when she is kept small. When the too much girl is caged, what happens in relationship? 1, emotional disconnection. When she cannot express her full truth, when she cannot be in touch with these parts of herself, her heart is not fully opened, not just to the world at large, but to him too. If she has swallowed her voice to keep peace with the world, she's also swallowed her voice to keep peace with him. There's a loss of erotic polarity. Think of this like her spark. When her spark is dull, she can't move in her sensual, sexual, emotional, creative energy. Maybe she can, but she isn't fully expressed. And so he might want intimacy, but she is pulling away or shutting down because the aliveness, the juice, the tension, it fades because safety can never coexist with suppression. When she's in her full too muchness, she invites him to grow. She evolves and she asks him to evolve with her. And when he avoids her expansion, he avoids his own expansion. He stays in his patterns of control, avoidance. And honestly, these are patterns, again, epigenetics. These are passed down through lineages. It's not his fault. Who is the, woke, sovereign, fully embodied masculine for him to look at and learn from? We don't have many of those leaders here. There is unconscious resentment between partners if he unconsciously is limiting her. So could he wonder, why doesn't she lead? Why doesn't she initiate? Why doesn't she want to create or inspire? Not realizing that he is part of the reason why her flame is dim. A fully expressed woman is a force of nature. She sees what others don't. She channels, she creates, she heals, she knows. And when that is stifled, he misses out on her medicine. If he has children, and especially daughters, and he continues to silence or shrink the feminine, he's teaching the exact same patterns to the next generation, the same fear, the same thing that feminine power is dangerous and being too much means you're going to be rejected. If this stirred something in you, if you feel the ache or the longing to be more you, I want you to know you're not too much. You never were. Your bigness is not a problem. Your voice is not dangerous. It's your true essence. And it's okay to be afraid of your true essence. But just realize that you're only afraid of your true essence because of cultural conditioning and all the things that you learned. But you can't erase that too much, girl. She's still there. She is still there, even if she's teeny, tiny, tiny. Even if she is a whisper on the wind, she is still there. She is your essence. And it's time that you turn towards her. It's time that you give her an ounce of space to hear what she has to say. It's time to let her out. Maybe today's the day that you speak your truth. You say the things that you've been swallowing to be more palatable. You wear the thing that you think you're afraid of as being too bold, too colorful, too loud. You move your body in a way that feels good to you. Whatever it is, you don't wait to do it. The world has plenty of watered down women. Plenty. What we need is you. You in your true essence, uncaged, unfiltered, unapologetically alive. You're not too much. You're exactly right. and we're ready for you.